Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. Joining us right here, Beth Dolan from Joseph's Spaghetti Shed.
Rob.
Beth, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to summer. We're now officially in summer.
We are.
Which is nice, and the bugs have appreciated that. They like the summer.
Yeah.
And but we've had a couple beautiful days. We got a few beautiful days on track. So
Yeah.
how's things there at Joseph's?
Good. Getting busy. Schools are out now, so
Right.
that is a huge impact on all the businesses here. Once schools are done, you can see that there's just more cars on the road and more people at Storyland, and which is big for us, being so close to Storyland.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. So what's new at Joseph's this summer?
Well, we've still been doing a little remodeling, so we put down a new floor in the dining room, so that looks really nice. And I'm redoing my menu, not changing it too much. I added another appetizer, crispy baked green beans that we're going to serve with a horseradish sauce, which are delicious. The menu's pretty much the same. The old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
So, but we've been getting lots of really positive feedback on everything. And I mentioned we're close to Storyland. We do have a children's menu, and we're very family friendly, and love to see the kids. And we have crayons and
and that's just so important, to be able to have a place that the kids are welcome, and and especially if they're coming from Storyland.
Right.
They're either tired or they're hungry or both.
Right.
And being able to have a place that serves them quickly and is comfortable.
Right. Yeah, you don't feel uncomfortable bringing kids there. That's for sure.
Right.
My favorite is when a couple will come in, and they're looking for a nice quiet spot to have a romantic dinner, and they'll say, "We'd like to be seated away from children," and I'll be like, "Well, then you might want to take a ride down to the cider house, or because this place is full of kids, or come in the fall, certainly don't want you to go away, but I want you to have a great dining experience." And we have lots of families.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we love it. So.
But you also last year expanded the bar area, the waiting area.
Yes.
So that's a great thing.
Yeah,
so it makes it a lot more comfortable for everybody.
It does. I mean, even last night, we were much busier than I expected that we would be. And just the fact that when folks have to wait 25 minutes, that they have a place to sit down, that there's room for the kids. We have a little shelf with lots of kids' books, and so there's something for the kids to do. And they can get a glass of wine or a beer while they wait, and they're comfortable. And we have the Sox game on, or we had the Bruins games on, but so it's just a more comfortable area for folks to wait, and that was a really great improvement that we made last year.
Absolutely.
And
now, do you have the outside seating?
We have waiting out there right now, but we don't seat out there.
Okay.
We don't serve out there. People can sit and wait out there.
But that's great on one of these nights when it's beautiful, and just can hang out and enjoy the rivers right there.
I wish we could serve outside, but the kitchen can only do so much.
Yeah.
And when somebody waits 25 minutes to get a table, I don't want them waiting longer to get their food because we're trying to do too much.
Right.
And we do a lot of takeout, but it's the same thing. In the summer, we have a limited takeout menu. The beginning of the night when it's not too busy, we can do everything. But once it starts to get busy, we go to a limited menu. It's nothing that has to be cooked to order. Pretty much spaghetti meatballs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing. And sometimes we have to shut takeout off because I don't feel it's fair that if somebody waited 35 or 45 minutes for their table, that they have to wait longer for their food because we're serving takeout food.
Absolutely.
I hate to not do takeout. I hate to lose that business, but again, I feel that my priority has to be my in-house guests who have waited and.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they appreciate that too.
I hope so. I hope so. We all do business differently. You know what I mean? And that's just something. I feel badly if somebody calls and we can't do takeout. And later on in the evening we turn it back on and we can do it. But through the mad time, it's either limited or we just have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that people could do is while they're waiting, they could always have. You brought some desserts because you're very well known for your desserts. You could always have your dessert first.
You could have your dessert first.
And
that's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. So what, any new desserts this summer?
I actually have added homemade tiramisu to my menu. And I will have that on the dessert menu all the time. I've had it as a special before. Yep. Sometimes tiramisu can be a little labor intensive to make, but I found a great recipe that is easy. It's much easier for me to put it together.
Oh, that's
so
great.
We'll have tiramisu on the menu all the time. And then the other dessert I brought is a almond joy bread pudding. I make wedding cakes, and when you make a wedding cake, you've got to level it off, so you cut all this beautiful cake off.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's the Yankee in me or what, but I'm like, I can't just throw this away. I have to do something with it. So I've probably made 20 to 25 different flavors of bread pudding with the cake. And this
great.
Is an almond joy bread pudding. So it's a chocolate cake base with an almond custard, and then it's topped with chocolate and almonds and coconut. And we serve everything, with ice cream, and our meals are big. Our desserts are big too.
Right. Oh,
everything at Joseph's is pretty big.
Well, that's great. So yeah, that's one of the things that people, I'm sure they know about, but if they don't know about it, but absolutely is the desserts. It's all part of your experience there. So look at that! And Hans even just tossed me a fork so we can try it. So I'm going to actually
Breakfast of Champions right there. That's the tiramisu.
I'm going to take a bite of that. Yeah. While I take a bite, you can describe what tiramisu is, because I can't remember.
Tiramisu is an Italian dessert made with ladyfingers and a zabayon custard. Isn't it good? And we all make it differently. When I do it, I take my ladyfingers and I soak them in coffee and Kahlua, a combination of the two. Some people don't put any alcohol in. Some people put brandy in. You can make it with anything. I mean, it would be really nice with amaretto. And then in the custard mixture, it uses mascarpone cheese as well as egg and sugar. And I put a little Marsala wine in the zabayon as well. And then I also put chocolate chips in mine. Not all tiramisus are made with chocolate. I like mine with chocolate, so I put chocolate in it.
This is fabulous. Now, is this a normal portion here?
That would be the portion, and then a little bit of whipped cream on the side.
I love whipped cream.
Yeah.
I love ladyfingers.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I don't think people fully appreciate.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, we used to, we buy the store-bought ladyfingers, and I don't know what we did with them, but I ate them all the time.
They're so light.
They're so light and fluffy.
And they're particularly good soaked in coffee and Kahlua.
No, now I have breakfast. So when you come here, that is unbelievable.
Yeah. And I've got I'm loading up my freezer in the front now. So I'll have my sauces, I'll have lasagnas, meatballs, and I'm even going to start making small size, 6-inch frozen peanut butter pies to sell out of the front. Frozen peanut butter pie is probably one of my most popular desserts.
Really?
Yes, and I make them myself. I don't buy any of the desserts. I make all the desserts myself. Yeah. And so I bought some little 6-inch pie plates, and I'm going to start making individual ones. So they would serve, if you bought it, it would serve 2 to 4 people, depending on how much peanut butter pie you can eat.
Yeah.
So I'll have those out front, and so this week I'm working on getting everything packaged and labeled and back into that freezer. So folks can, it's not like you can take it, the sauce, you can thaw it that night and have it, but a lasagna you'd want to get a day ahead of time probably and let it thaw and then heat it up.
Yeah.
We don't have stuff that you can just take and go, because you just don't know how much of that you're going to need, and it's just about turnover and stuff being fresh.
Oh, sure.
But we'll have that up and running here in the next few days as well.
Oh, that's great.
So people can, if they're going to make spaghetti and they just want some nice homemade sauce, but they don't want to heat the house up, then they can just come in and get it, Or if they come in and they want it, so they can just heat it up and they don't have to thaw it. We can always package it on the spot as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So plenty of options.
Yeah,
Plenty
absolutely.
Of options. And what are the hours at Joseph's?
We're open 7 nights right now. In the summer, we're open 7 nights. We open at 4:30. Right now, we close at 9. After 4th of July, we'll be open till 9:30.
Yep.
And then when we get to Labor Day, we go back to our 5-night schedule. We're open Thursday through Monday, closed Tuesday, Wednesday. But right now, 7 nights a week. So
Keeping you busy.
keeping me busy.
Keeping you busy.
Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
awesome. And you mentioned about the fact that you make the desserts. I actually one time stopped in and we were chatting about stuff, and you were making desserts as I was there. And it's so cool to be able to see somebody making desserts. I mean, I'm not a baker, so just seeing the creation of a dessert is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always interesting to figure out, what am I going to do? I mean, we went through a lot last night. I have not one stitch of pie in my building, and for me to not have pie, because that's another thing I'm known for. So that's what on my list today is apple pie. So
good.
Yeah, apple pie and apple crisp today, definitely.
Absolutely.
So
well, it's like the tiramisu. The number of layers here, as I'm digging into it, I'm going, there's a lot of layers on there. So.
Yeah, and basically you make it like lasagna. You put the ladyfingers, and then you put the zabagnone, and then more ladyfingers. And I actually just bought, because I wanted another layer of ladyfingers, so I actually just bought a deeper baking dish. So now that the serving will be even one layer higher than that.
So this is baked?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not baked. No, it's not baked. With the mascarpone and the egg and sugar, that's all mixed up together. And then you layer it all out, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and you let it sit for about 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
And then everything soaks together, and
Right.
that'll stiffen up so that you can cut it.
Yeah, it's going. It doesn't look like it's baked. So,
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
no, that's not baked. But I do homemade cheesecake as well, and that's very popular. And then in the summer, when strawberries are ripe, I'll do homemade strawberry shortcake.
Are strawberries ever going to be ripe
I
this
don't
year?
know. My sister lives in South Carolina, and she just talked about all the wonderful stuff she got at the farm stand, and I'm like, we're a little bit behind that.
Oh, I
you
know.
Our winter didn't want to end, so I feel like everything is behind.
Absolutely.
But, oh well, it just makes summer last a little
There you
longer.
go. There's a good way to do it. So how do you describe where you're located?
I am a mile and a half west of the Glen intersection. So I always tell people where the Dairy Queen is in Glen. If you stay on Route 302, a mile and a half west, I'm on the left-hand side as you're heading towards Attitash.
There you go, right by the river.
Yep.
Which is a nice
near the river.
spot. So
yeah.
Well, perfect. So very easy to find.
Yep.
And open 7 days.
Open,
so that's
we
even
open
better.
at 4:30 and 7 nights. So I hope folks can come and try us out if they haven't been, or come back if they have. And I can't tell you still. I've been there for I'll be starting my 36th year,
Wow.
August 1st. And I still have people say, oh my God, we drive by there. We've always wanted to stop. And they finally come in and they have dinner and they're like, oh, we're so regretting that we didn't stop sooner. But I still have people that I meet on the street, we have never been there. We're always saying we want to go there. And so my advice is come to Joseph's.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Beth, thanks so much for coming down. Thanks for bringing some snacks for Hans and I. And now I have breakfast.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
This is mine, Hans. And I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Good to see you, Rob. Thanks.
Back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.